Happy Thursday, guys. We're here for our final thoughts on the week. It is our trades for the People Squad and also my team there. The trades in the People Squad are a very interesting week. We obviously look to bring in some cash generation and also some good points for a couple of the slight issues in the side. Just some early mail here, potentially with the Broncos. We saw apparently Carrigan have an issue with his wisdom tooth that he had to get operated on at the beginning of the week. So he's actually in some doubt for this one, which is very frustrating for those that own him. So hopefully we find out over the next day or two before their game. So that's just some interesting news there. And I hope for People Squad's sake, my team, I'm obviously sneakily wanting to not play, but for everyone else's sake and the People Squad here, we want him to play and continue to do well. So the trades in this week, you see Tohu Harris with his Iron Man circle there. He is in the squad now. So very exciting news for our squad here, and our middle forwards are just incredible there. Our top heavy squad, the Carrigan, Harris, Hopgood, and then Harry Grant up top. Really, really good. So the People Squad, the people there decided to keep Cleary, which is great. And we'll loop him this week. We can double loop here with Ben Murdoch, Masila, and Isaiah Katoa there. Both those guys could do okay. We're not exactly sure. So we'll, Mr. Scoop has it looped, set to loop up, ready to go. So he comes in. Jacob Preston comes in as well. So Brandon Smith comes out. Drinky comes out as well. And deciding to this week play to Marty Martin in that wing fullback spot. So you look at this squad, there is some cover in there, which is nice. Nothing in the centre and wing fullback, but we do in the when Talau comes back next week. But we've got the cover in the halves position. If we wanted to, we could not play Martin and have him on the emergencies just in case, or if things pop up, he can have him there and have him ready for that wing fullback spot potentially. He looks like he's going to have to play for sure. So that's that here. Keeping Boydie. So the team overall, when you look down the bottom here, doesn't look super exciting. There's a little bit of an issue with Adam Dewey as well, so we very much hope that he's just got a little bit of bone bruising, some foot bruising is what the news is with him. But we obviously copped a little bit this week with Drinky, with Smith, with Ford, with Talau. So both those guys are out, likely to be back next week. Definitely Ford will be. Talau, we're not sure with his broken nose, but a week off for him, plus the HIA. Failing that, he had to have the week off anyway. So that's that. And then Cleary back next week to bolster this squad. He would come in for Tanner Boyd, for example. And I do think we need to make some changes with our centres and wing fullbacks over the next few weeks. So having the 167k in the bank is going to be good. We did only make the one trade last week, which leaves us with the next few weeks to kind of trade pretty hard to make sure our team is correct. And looks like captaincy option this week is going to be on Jermaine Hopgood. I personally like the look of someone like Tohu Harris. I'm a little bit worried with Hopgood unless Brad Arthur continues to play these middle 70, 65 minutes there. Obviously, Hopgood the 71 last week with the 2 try assists. I don't know if that can continue to happen. So I'm a little bit of a worry on Hopgood, but he also looks like he's going to be super highly captained. So it might be worth sticking with the pack. But then, with how poorly I've gone the last few weeks and same with the People Squad, it might be worth changing. And personally in my team, I have it on Payne Haas at the moment. There's a chance that it ends up on Murray, and then Hopgood's the other option. So they're the 3 for me. But again, I'm not super good at picking captaincies week to week, just like I'm not good at picking bench players week to week. So that's that there. That's why it was always great to have Rule 1, with Corey Parker originally, and Paul Gallen were the other good options, then Cameron Smith, and then guys like Cleary here as well. Payne Haas has been a great captaincy option year to year as well. So that's that in this squad. But looking like we're going to be trying to get the majority of our points up top in this side, in the hooks, mids, and the edges as well. Bringing in Preston's going to shore up some cash generation, as we said. The guys that aren't going to be making money in this side this week is obviously just Talau and Ford. Smith Shields is starting to make money a little bit. Alamotti's starting to build up that cash now after a good week. Our forwards in Tohu Harris are doing that at the moment. Hopgood, Haas, Grant, all going up in price. You got Liero, Katoa, Dury, Preston, Carrigan's going up as well. So a lot of things are going right in this team. It's just, guys like Tamati Martin, Ford, and Talau that aren't really making cash, along with Boydie. So hopefully a bounce back for Tanner. That would be the goal here heading into round 3. So I'm going to make the declaration that round 3 will be better. It will be better for all. I wish you all the best of luck with that one. So that is the People Squad there. And we'll move to my team, guys. And I've actually decided to bring in a couple of Cowboys boys. So there's a little bit of a risk playing in this one, but I still think it's the best option. If I Didn't go for the man Tommy Chester, who I've decided to bring in the fullback position for Drinky, so fullback for fullback there. And then I've traded Tanner Boyd for Reece Robson. So with my hooking stocks there was only Tanner Boyd, so I've just upgraded him. Looks like he probably won't make a ton of money over the next few weeks, even if he scores sort of 40-40. He'll just go up a little bit in price. But Robson's going to come in. He's a guy that little bit less expensive than Grant, who I do want in my side. But Grant has the buy in round 9, a little bit more expensive. Just stops me from upgrading in the centre and the wing fullback next week. So how it's going to work next week, guys, is I will have Suoli'i not playing. So my likely trade next week will be Egan Butcher to a Jack Bird or a separate gun centre. So that'll be the play for me, I'm thinking, with Butcher having the bye, unless he comes out and absolutely dominates, but he hasn't looked great to start the year. So Butcher to Birdie next week is the planning ahead in my squad. I think that's going to be the best way to go forward because Suoli'i is going to be out and then I need to cover centre. And then when Suoli'i is back, guys, then I can potentially move him down into this wing fullback position. Whether Warbrick's going to be out, if he keeps his spot or not, with a guy like Jennings coming back, then I could plug him into that spot. We got Chester for 3 weeks is going to be that play. I'm not expecting him to score amazingly well. But what I'm looking at here is if I went the other option there, guys, was going Tanner Boyd, because I do want the hooker. So Tanner Boyd to Egan, and then I could go Drinkwater to the Hammer. So that would be the option. But both of those guys I'm not super sold on. You've missed out on price rises with both of them. They've both gone up about 80k there. And Egan has had so many attacking stats. So has Hammer. So I think both of them will come back down to earth a little bit. You do see Egan there. Yes, if he gets a few extra minutes, that would be great. But he does have the missed tackles. He does have the negative stats. And he's not always going to get attacking stats. So, yeah, very interesting one here. Robson v Egan this week is going to be fun. And Chester, what we're looking for here, the other option I was looking at was obviously someone like Reece Walsh. So I could have made the one trade this week and just gone like Drinkwater straight to Walsh, leave a bit of cash in the bank to still muck around with those trades, whether it be Boydie, try to go up to someone next week, downgrade elsewhere, improve the centre position there. But if I look at this just in isolation, you've got someone like Tom Chester, who the goal for me with him is to try and get an average of 30, 32, 33, something like that. We can probably make close to 100k over 3 weeks if he averages 32 to 34, somewhere in that bracket, which would be ideal. If there's any other injuries to any other players, he could potentially get that. If Drinky has an injury, there's obviously those kind of things that we need to think about as well. If I can get a 30 out of him, let's just say Walshy averages 50, which I think is going to be pretty impressive if he does. For example there, that's 20 points difference. And can I make that up elsewhere with the Robson? Can Robson average sort of 60 compared to Tanner Boyd averaging sort of a 35 maybe, or a Robson 55 to Boyd 35? There's that extra 20 points. Pretty safe there that I would be getting from going up to Robson. Obviously, as I said, in 3 weeks, I'm going to have to do something with him. Hopefully he has made sort of at least 70k, gets him to about 300. We can straight swap into another cash cow and continue to build up the cashies here. Or he's there as a little bit of a looper to start, and then we could look to move him on when the right cash cow comes up. And then obviously Suoli'i going down to that spot is going to be really helpful there. So the other option obviously was Hamiso into that position, and I doubt he's going to get 50 every week. He could score well again this week, but then a couple of tougher games, as I spoke about. Week to week, easily Chester could get the same as Hammer. Chester could come out and get a 15 as well, but Hammer could come out and get a 25 or 30 also. So that's that. And then I'm just not sold with Egan long term, and I think we missed out on a bunch of his price bumps in this first couple of weeks. So as I said with this team, the captaincy is going to be the big thing now. Haas, Murray, Hopgood. I think it's going to be one of those 3 guys. I'm going to avoid putting on Robson. I just think guys like Haas are going to be more consistent. Murray, there's a little bit of a talk that he's carrying a bit of a back issue as to why he played less minutes, but there are a lot of games last year where he played sort of that 58 to 60 minutes, and this is one of his worst scores that he's had in a while. So that 45, I'm not too worried about it, but who's going to be more consistent, Haas or Murray? Minutes-wise, Payne always gets about the same. He has had no attacking stats yet, very limited on the offload side, so he can come out and do well. Hopgood, minutes-wise, can Brad Arthur play all of these Eels middles 70, 65, 60 minutes for the front rowers, for example? Can he continue to do that, or is Hopgood going to go back to about a 60, 65 minutes in this game? That is the question mark there. If we're looking at overall team money making value here when we've got guys like really Ford and Talau, the only two that are not making cash at the moment. Butcher will start to make a little bit after he's 44. Robson, if he can go back to 60s, he'll make a little bit there. Guys like Murray obviously down a little bit. Cleary not so great, but the theory with him, guys, I could have traded out him as well, but it's going to be very nice to get him back next week. If I was to trade Cleary this week, it would have been him, most likely straight to Grant or Robson there, and then I would be looking to improve my halves over the next few weeks. So yeah, I'd have to be trading out someone like Ilias, who is someone that I might end up trading anyway. Ilias could end up going straight to Walshy, for example, over the next few weeks. There's a lot of different things I can do with that cash. A good cash cow will pop up potentially with all these HIAs, with all the suspensions, with all the injuries. Things change very quickly in the NRL. So, they're the kind of mid-range options that, it's a lot of cash there, guys. 550 for Butcher, 505 for Ilias after his 25k bump last week, and if he can continue to score 40s, he's got more money to make. If he doesn't happen to do that, he goes into like that low 30s and doesn't make too much cash, then he's a guy that we can move on to greener pastures. And then guys like Cartwright, they're going to be in the 400s as well over the next few weeks. If he becomes an option to trade, again, going down to a good cash cow could be good, or just straight swapping for a nice mid-range or an upgrade and a downgrade to get a gun on the way up, and then get a cheapie there as well. So that's the general thoughts around my squad at the moment. There's still a few things to improve, but overall happy with the money generation. I started with Preston, so got that big 57k over the last 2 weeks of a rise for him. Katoa, Lioro, Dury up 44k as well. Ben Mokinsilla, just a little one, but I think he'll improve from there. Having Cleary come back next week is going to be super important to this squad. I think that for us to do well, he has become very much a trade target this week. So percentage of his ownership is very much down. So 38% now, when he was close to that 50 mark. So for him to become less owned in a lot of players' minds that are here, doing a good job, if he can be a pod play and do really well, that's genuinely a way for us to get back into this league. If he can come out and get sort of 70s and 80s, and the Panthers play a lot better, we might look to still not captain him with just in round 4 and 5 just to see how he returns. But I still think that he's going to be a guy that can push us back up the ranks, and to have him come back into the side next week is going to be gold. Potentially making a trade or two next week to really sort out this side. I think we're going to do pretty solidly there for sure. So very, very interesting here with only Suoli'i and Butcher out next week. Potentially moving on from Butcher if he still doesn't look amazing. We can make, as I said, him to Bird, something like that. Could do really well. But that's enough of me waffling, guys. Good luck in round 3. It's going to be a much better round. I'm calling it.